the third dimension.
Which recording?
And this way we would have to move. Well, I don't want to. Like, okay, whatever.
Just for the record, I don't think I mentioned when we first started this. I said I would upload the videos exactly as they are.
Mm-hmm. So
that's exactly what I've been doing.
Okay.
So there were a couple of times I think that we were like, oh yeah, we'll edit that out.
Mm-hmm.
Did not edit anything out. So.
Does it cause any problems?
Not to my knowledge, but.
I wonder how many views we have on our videos.
I can look it up.
Do we have any angry comments?
Oh, that would be great.
Could you imagine someone's like, "You horrible monsters," and we just answer back like, "Thank you, viewer, for."
Exactly.
He's like, "What?" I don't think we have to worry. We have an average of 5 views per video.
Okay.
That's not bad. It's better than none.
We should get Bueno on the podcast.
That makes a lot of sense.
Why are you not turning on? Is it on hold? Is that what it is?
So I don't know what made these people all sink in Lake George or Lake whatever this lake is in Texas.
Wait, what?
That place.
Trump supporters.
The Trump supporters. Well, I don't know how did they all start drowning? Well, a bunch of them.
What?
Like apparently a lot of their boats started to sink.
So
that sounds like vengeance.
So a bunch of Trump supporters, as you can imagine, rich Trump supporters, they all have boats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And to show his support for him, because he can't get parades, they've been doing boat parades for him. And in Texas, one of the lakes, during one of their parades, a bunch of their boats started sinking, and everyone was like, "Okay, cool."
Yeah. It was like I couldn't be mad at them.
No eating your foot.
They're like, "How's the water down there?"
And this has 13 of 13. It looks like this has an hour and a half left. I can probably wipe this. How big is this? I'm getting all of them. 32 gigs, 40 megabytes. Yeah, I can get it.
So after we record tonight, do we make the attempt to see if Forte will read 2 short stories and come talk to us next?
Yeah, why not?
And we could also try Matt Williams since he likes books.
I actually, the last time I texted him or like hit him up on social media, I said, why don't you come and do the podcast?
What did he say?
I don't remember, but I don't remember it being a resounding yes.
He can sometimes be a little shy.
Yeah.
How's your coffee?
Delicious.
Yeah.
Would you know how to photograph that tree behind me? If you lifted up your camera and framed up that tree, would you place the tree over on the right-hand side of your frame? Or smack dab in the middle? Or what about on the left side? How much sky would you include in your photo? A lot of sky or more foreground? And do you like this photo here? Or do you find this second photo to be even...
To borrow and then entirely misuse a famous expression, in space, no one can hear you scream about how much you wish you were dead. That might seem like a really odd sentiment, and you're right, I have done better intros, but the point is that in the deep, terrifying black of the unknown, there are a lot of things that will make you pray for a swift end. Now, despite being really big on the perils of interstellar exploration, Star Trek does take its position as family-friendly entertainment very seriously, and thus gives the really bleak stuff a wide berth. One day they're gonna let me do the 10 worst things that could possibly happen.
Season 3, October, right? Tomorrow's Star Trek Day, right?
Tomorrow's.
Yes.
When is Star Trek Day?
Huh?
When is Star Trek Day?
Because they couldn't do the convention.
I believe in you.
Because they couldn't do the convention, they're doing basically like a virtual one.
Oh, okay.
So there'll be a bunch of panels and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Let me make sure I'm not telling you the wrong date. But they're supposed to do panels for each of the shows, discuss when things are coming out. So CBS will celebrate Star Trek Day 2020 with an epic Trek panel marathon. And yes, it is tomorrow. Here's what to know. Oh, it's the 54th anniversary.
Oh.
So if you have lots of time tomorrow, Dennis, you have plenty of panels to watch, it looks like.
Maybe I'll watch them while I'm at dialysis.
Left, right.
So the first panel that, because I guess they're doing on the West Coast, 12 p.m. West, 3 p.m. here for Star Trek Discovery. And then following that one will be one for Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, the original series after that, then Voyager, then the Star Trek Enterprise cast.
The makers of this mug are not a sponsor.
No. So yes, you can find that all on the YouTubes.
Okay.
Just Star Trek Day.
Gotcha.
Should answer in the finals probably.
Maybe. So the sound Nazi doesn't kill you.
What is sound Nazi? Jump up in my chair? What a miracle. Are we ready?
Ready for what?
DJ Morsa.
As you can tell by the crackling sound my headphones make when I put them on, I'm DJ Cabezon.
DJ Napoca.
And we're here at the Old Books Third Dimension podcast.
That's right. That's right.
No.
Yes.
No. Wait.
The podcast of the official podcast of the Pythagorean theorem.
No.
Yes, math puns all day.
That's right. Loud clicking sounds with our mugs.
I'll kill you. Hello. Welcome.
Hello. Welcome to the Old Books podcast.
Hola.
We read old books and talk about them.
Yes. I don't know how old this book is.
Oh yeah, you looked it up, didn't you? This one.
It's very old, which is why I was like, oh, okay, so it's a book.
Yeah. So let's start with the podcast. It's about who recommended this book. And I was surprised to find out it was me.
So the book that we read is called The Flatlands.
Yes.
A memoir. What's the full title?
I'm looking at
A memoir of dimensions or something like that.
Very wordy book.
Yes.
Yeah, it's wordy.
A lot of $10 words in this one.
The hell? Why would it show up?
It's not meant for triangles.
Definitely.
I mean, maybe
Maybe a polygon.
Maybe a polygon.
Yeah. At least a hexagon.
Oh man, all of these words will make sense in a moment, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. So if there's some math nerds listening to the podcast, this is the book for you. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
if you hated all that talk about French and and whales and killing whales with Frenchmen,
You want to hear about some cubed?
That's right.
Some threes to the third, and
if you want to imagine shapes.
Okay, I have found it.
Okay.
I have found it. So, the book we read was Flatland, A Romance of Many Dimensions.
There it is. Yep.
It is a satirical novella by English schoolmaster. So this guy was a teacher.
Okay.
Edwin Abbott. Abbott? Abbott? So, who wants to go first?
Well, Dennis, your
since
suggestion.
I say it that I was surprised to find out that I recommended this. They actually have proof. There were receipts.
Text messages weeks ago.
And I was like, where did this book come from? Not that I didn't enjoy it. It's one of those books that feels like I think while listening, I was like, when are they going to get to the story?
Oh yeah, for sure. This is definitely one of those. The when are you getting to the story is the story.
Yeah. So at some point, I'm listening, and even the author has written down somewhere, and the narrator says to us, everything I've said before this is a preface. And I was like, oh, good. Well, now we're gonna get to the story. Now a square is gonna fuck somebody up or something. I don't know. It's
by the way, I forgot to mention this book was written in 1884.
Yeah.
Yes.
If that helps at all.
Right. So, I don't think this is as common a book as most of the other ones that we've read.
No.
So we'll set the stage a little bit. There are multiple dimensions in this book.
Yes.
The point of view of the person narrating this is from the Flatlands world, where there are only 2 dimensions.
Yes.
So the way that they describe it is, if you were to look at a penny top down, right,
Yes.
and then you see it, and then you're standing over it and you look at it, and then you proceed to basically like sit down or come onto the same level as the penny. You no longer see the circle of the penny. You just see the line of the penny, basically the thickness, and that's their whole world. That's what they see. That doesn't sound like 2 dimensions to me. So I don't understand how. This book is very confusing for me. I don't understand how they can perceive angles and stuff like that, because from the point of view that he was saying, when you're looking at the penny from the side and there's only the one line, everything you look at is basically like that. So
the thing that occurred to me most, the thing I could picture, because when I wasn't confused, was if the entire world, the entire universe that you know of, the entire known universe, was a large page, just a flat, surface that only had 2-dimensional drawings on it. It's like if somebody, if God was an artist and only drew with pencils, because we come to find out that at some point they even abolished color.
Right. They don't allow color, but that's a part of the confusing thing. So for me, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, I understand the dimension of width and height, and I understand that they in their world cannot perceive depth. That is the up that he keeps referring to,
right.
Not the north, the up.
The up.
So I'm like, okay, everything is flat, hence Flatlands. I get it. But then he started talking about how they go about recognizing each other in different shapes, and how the lower class men feel each other and they can feel the curves, and then upper echelon aristocrats can like see.
Whoa, they don't feel the curves; they feel that.
Yeah, you're right. They feel the angles, and the whole thing about the color and how the color was outlawed because it put women on the same page as the highest echelon, and it got rid of all the potential people who were striving to do better and all of this.
Not to give this a political vibe, but it there was some essence of that.
There was a lot of it.
There was definitely some conservative values here. There are definitely some
this is
woman's place kind of thing.
There is a bit, but I was listening to the whole thing with very heavy satirical influence, and I found it all the part of me that was when they're women are stupid, and so they're only emotional, so they don't learn language properly. They only learn this, and the issue with that isn't that it's not right for the women, but that it creates 2 languages for the men to have to speak. Those parts of me chafed me, but I could also very clearly see that this is not the point of view taken as literally, or that the author agrees with it in any way.
He doesn't not agree with it.
Well, no, I think he doesn't. Because remember when they were describing the conversation with the spear?
The spear, yeah.
The spear was
No. We have to be very articulate here, because a spear is different than a spear.
Sphere.
All right, relax.
Yeah, I was like, what spear are you talking about? I don't remember any weapons in this.
People died.
Yes.
Well.
Many died.
Many isosceles died.
Yes.
But when they're discussing what's a better way to speak, he's telling him in the 3rd dimension, the space. Yeah. He's like, no, we value the emotional side more. Your woman is right. You wrong. Oh, square motherfucker.
Okay, so that's one. What did you think of the whole explanation of the woman being basically a needle, right?
Yes.
And that whole thing.
So the way he was explaining it, again, I think he was trying to do like satire to not now that I remember the year, to the world they lived in.
Mm-hmm.
The way a lot of men look at women. It's like, you should be seen but not heard.
Mm-hmm. You're too emotional. There's no reasoning capacity.
But at the same time, they're like, oh, but the woman knows everything about me. She's the most dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the way they relegated their women. They're like, hey, the women are, they're there, they're dumb, they're stupid, but they can kill us at any moment.
Mm-hmm.
We must be careful. I also appreciated when you discuss the women that were married to like the circles or they're like, those women were allowed to, how did he put it, yap?
Mm-hmm.
Because they preferred them to be yapping than to be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Jesus. Again, it's that time period. It's kind of the views they had.
Yeah, that whole thing was like, a lot of it was just like frustrating, just from hearing how like, oh, women are, they're not smart, so we don't bother to teach them the right words, and we have to like, and the part where he's like, we tell them to their face that they're second only to like the circles. Oh, that was a really cute little pun, by the way, when he's like, the round people are the secular, the circulars, aka the religious people. I was like, oh, secular, that's cute. But then, behind their back, that women are like the dumbest doorknobs and we don't bother listening to them. But
so my idea of that, or my perception of that, is that you want them to be that way because you're not asking any more of them. I think when you create a separate society of somebody, like, it's like, okay, we think of you as lesser than, so we're not going to bother giving you anything that would make you more. It's like, well, you're kind of making a circle there. You're saying, because you're down here, we're not going to make you, we're not going to bring you northward, more north in their section, in their language. So by keeping them low,
right,
you can't, how can you demean somebody for them staying where you want them to be?
Right.
It's like you put a pot somewhere, out of the sunlight, and it's like, well, it's not growing. It's like, well, that's where you put it, in a place it wouldn't grow. So it's like you can't hate somebody for not doing the thing that you don't want them to do.
Right. And then on top of that, they say that women have no memory, so it's not even like that they can get upset about anything, any lies or anything like that, unless, but how is it? Only in the house, right? You can lie to them and do whatever you want in your domicile, but you can't lie to a woman or tell her whatever you want in public, because then if she gets mad, then she'll kill everyone, including herself.
Yes, right. Women are quite dangerous.
Most of their society was built on the idea of holding someone back.
Yes.
Like, they talked about the women. Then they talked about the isosceles triangle, and they're like, ooh, those angles are too acute. Yes. And if you were irregular, so your angles weren't all the same, then they put you in a whole different subclass.
Exactly.
Right, which so later on when he meets the spear and they're talking, and it sounds almost like the people that they were consuming or destroying that were irregular were actually because so we'll back up a little. So in the society there are much like in our society today, there are tiers or like stratas, subclasses, and based on your angle, a square versus a triangle versus a pentagon, whatever, determines your intelligence. Yes. So the degree of your angle is equal to your level of intelligence. Yes. And so the wider, I guess, the larger the angle is, the dumber you are, and the smaller your angle is, right? Because by the time you get, or is it the other way around?
It's the other way around. The isosceles are like those really pyramid-y things.
Oh, that's right. So the smaller the angle.
Right. So the smaller angle, the dumber you are, which is why they were all soldiers or criminals.
Right. So
sharp.
Yep. Yeah. So the person who's narrating this book is a square.
Yes.
And he's considered to be like right smack dab in the middle of everything. But it is each strata, each kind of shape can pursue to make children that are slightly better than they are.
Exactly, more sided.
To the point where I can't remember what the shape is, but they'll destroy their kids. They'll break their kids when they're little. Which one was that one? For the hope of becoming a circle?
That's when they've added to where they have like 200 to 300 sides.
Mm-hmm.
And the sides are small enough where you could, just crack them a few times.
Well, the idea of, like again, any math geeks, I'm sure you're keeping up, but explain to the other people you're listening to who are like barely keeping up. And by the way, we could have used you when we were listening.
Mathletes,
or at least I could. I'm going to speak for myself.
Mathletes, is that a thing?
Yeah, mathletes is a thing.
Like
if your school had a program where like you went up against other students, and who's the first of complete this problem correctly.
Oh, I like that.
I never heard of that.
No, I like that. Anyway.
Yeah, I wish I went to a better school. I really do. But
anyway.
So what you would do is you would couple with a woman of higher quality,
right?
Maybe more sides than yourself, so that the child you bear would have more sides than the two of you.
Right, and then that child would then continue on, and the goal was to get to a point where you were like
so many sided that you almost resembled a circle.
Which is the highest strata you can be in this world, which are the circular/secular people. And I thought it was interesting the way that he described it, which is he basically said that the circles are the philosophers, the scientists, and the people who are like, pun intended, thinking outside the box here. But the way that he phrased it was really interesting. Is that they don't do anything themselves. They do things so that other people do things.
Right.
Basically, that doesn't make any sense to the listener, but
basically they're the idea guys.
Yeah.
The person in the room that's like, I got this great idea. Exactly. Then they leave, and you have to do the work.
Exactly.
But
it's like being an architect. You don't build anything.
Nope.
Right.
You're in charge of the idea of the building.
Yep. Except certain ideas which are not allowed.
Yes.
Like trying to figure out where light comes from.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that because then you go
no
crazy.
What's this light? What you talking about?
No. The light is everywhere. Remember they said it emanates from different places, and they try to figure out the source.
No light. There's no light. There's no source.
Light creates perspective and dimension
and shadow.
That's right. There's only fog.
Yes.
There's only fog.
Yes.
Light's not real.
Yeah. Keep talking about this thing that doesn't exist. And lights have color, so why would that be a thing?
So.
But that brings me to my point. My question that we started off with 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. So you have this flatland. You've got all these shapes, right, which are people, and you like one person, aka one shape, discerns the shape of another person or their status level by depending on where you are in the spectrum, either feeling their angles or perceiving their angles through mist. Usually,
if you're in the misty part of town.
This is absurd.
Well, the author was British, right? So
yes.
I'm pretty sure there was a lot of mist
all the time.
So
it's like living in San Francisco.
How if it's flat, where do the angles diminish to?
So okay. Imagine my arms are flat lines, right?
Yes.
So I am a square at the moment.
No, you're not.
Imagine. So if this was one on my side, all you see is the line.
Right.
But what they're hoping to see is this. See the point where they meet.
Right.
So this is the diminishing line he's talking about.
Right.
That's
what
it.
I thought,
I
thought their world was like, rather than it being like flat like this, I thought it was flat like this, so they could see the entirety of one side.
No. If you're on the page, all you see is the line.
All you see is the line.
Yeah.
Oh.
So even a circle, if you were to interrupt a circle, or like somehow you would meet a circle, all you could see is the line. You might even think a circle was a woman.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that made it worse when they started painting.
Yes.
Yes, that is okay. Got it. Yeah. I understand.
What was another?
When he meets the
this is
dot,
a complex book. I'm not sure how I came upon it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how I came to recommend it.
That's okay. I actually really enjoyed it, and it's one of those books where I feel like I'll probably be the only person I ever know outside of YouTube that has ever read it.
Yes.
But I'm happy to know that I read it. I enjoy having
you wanna,
this.
You want to hear something scary about this?
No.
Would you guys like to, at some point, watch the Flatland movie?
What?
There's a movie?
They made a movie.
You have got to watch that movie.
In 1997, so it's probably like full of bad CG and all that stuff.
No.
When I looked up the book, that's the first thing that comes up. Do you mean the Flatland movies?
Movies? Is there more
Yes,
than one?
there's a sequel.
Series? Wow.
Can we take shrooms when we watch it?
I feel like most people had to do that. So
That's crazy. How the fuck do you do a movie off of this?
I don't know, but
I feel like if there is a movie like there seems to be, that this is the kind of thing you would see at school, like the day you're.
Yeah, and then those kids grow up and they just.
It's like that one
basement dwellers.
It's that one substitute teacher.
Why are you laughing?
That one substitute teacher who's like really like trying to teach you something, but he also knows that nobody cares because you're the substitute. So I'm going to show you a video, but it's going to be deceptively a math video.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this.
So the Flatland the movie was actually, it came out, I was wrong, 2007.
Oh shit.
Martin Sheen and Kristen Bell.
What?
She's
in everything.
Yes.
How are we not, casting her in everything?
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
So yeah, as you can see, it's just like shapes and shit.
What?
No.
So we have to find this thing.
Oh my goodness! But wait, there are cards on the table, and there are talking. Oh no!
Yes.
Oh no!
Absolutely.
So getting back to the story, so you have these shapes which represent different stratas, and you've got all of this, and this perspective of a square who's kind of like middle class person.
Yeah, he's a lawyer.
He's a lawyer. He's a mathematician, and one day he's randomly visited by a sphere.
Yes.
Which is in fact a three-dimensional thing.
Yeah. Which is not a thing they thought existed.
Right, because they couldn't perceive it.
Yes.
And so the sphere, in trying and failing to teach the square about the third dimension, which is depth.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yes.
Or height. No, for them it's height. They can perceive depth because that's where the line goes away.
Yes.
They can't perceive depth. So
height.
Yeah.
Height. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
Height.
Yeah.
So he takes them to his world, where everything is 3 dimensions.
Yeah, in the flat ones, there's only length and width.
Right. Length.
With depth, yeah.
Width. No.
Yeah,
there's length and depth. There's no height.
Well, depth is.
Oh fuck.
Well, think about it this way. You're the photographer.
No.
Yes, you are.
No.
So on a 2-dimensional page, on a page, there's only length.
Yes.
And width. Width would be this, going this way.
That's not how photography works, but thank you for trying. There is also depth. But so the people can perceive length, which is like the horizon, and they can perceive depth, which is how far away it is from you going backwards. What they cannot perceive is height, as in the horizon going up or down.
Yes.
That is what they perceive. So the sphere shows up and is like Ghost of Christmas Future, and it's like, I'm gonna fuck your shit up. And steals the square out of his flatland.
He doesn't steal.
He steals him.
He doesn't.
He steals
Because remember,
him.
he's holding him against the wall when the other people are coming to help.
Yeah, he could have just bounced without taking him with him.
Well, he's holding him, so he had to go. He dragged him along.
He stole him.
Also, how do you explain the third dimension if you're still stuck in the second one?
Well, the crazy thing is that the square had just previously visited the land of one dimension, right?
The line.
The line, which I thought was really cute way of describing music. That's basically what he was describing, is music. The sound and the length.
And again, even in the one dimension, women are lesser.
Yes.
Because men have 2 mouths.
Yes.
The soprano and
No, women have 2 mouths too.
No, that's why each man got 2 wives. The woman, because the men were sopranos and
alto. No, sopranos and
baritones.
Yeah.
Something like
the
that,
two deep ones.
Yeah.
And the women's were alto and
Yes.
the music words.
Yeah.
Yes.
You read the book.
Yeah. It's a short book. It's relatively short. If you're listening, if you do audiobooks, it's 4 hours.
4 hours.
And it's a fun little trip.
I listened to it today.
Yeah.
Before we got here.
So did I. I listened to it in about 4 hours. I listened to it a little fast.
Esteban and I finished it as he made dinner.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite a good dinner though.
It's a fun story to consume and make you think and wonder what the fuck am I listening to.
Can I say this to you? If you are someone who needs to be engaged, like actively engaged, like you're not somebody who wants to think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why you're listening to this podcast. For one, and two, I also wonder how this book, how you would like if I wasn't the type of person who was always asking questions like, what are they asking me this? Are they telling me this? What does that look like? Yeah, I'm always asking myself those questions.
Right.
What is this, especially in this book? What does this look like?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to picture everything they're saying.
Right.
So
I wasn't trying to picture it. I was just because I have a very visual mind. I see things easily. So during the majority of this book, it was pretty easy for me to kind of visualize what was going on. But I was really wondering why the hell anyone would write this story. Why anyone would put this together.
I can only come up with two very reaching reasons. Now, I admit it right before I said it. I'm reaching here. Mm-hmm. One, it's possible that he was trying to do a kind of satirical view of his world. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But
right.
to make sure no one got mad at him or, because you know back in those days, they imprisoned you for saying the wrong shit.
Right.
He made it such ridiculous shit, squares, triangles, lines, or points. Remember the point guy?
Mm-hmm.
That everything he heard, he thought he would... He turned it into just himself imagining.
But there are iterations of that thought process in other literary pieces. For example, two things came to mind. One of them was the protomolecule. Anytime that we were listening to a chapter from the protomolecule, it thinks. It's like that kind of thing. And you guys would appreciate this. I believe there was an episode of Star Trek where they found someone in a shed, right, who didn't know that there were other people, and so referred to himself in the third person. Think on it, because there was an episode of Star Trek where I think Jean-Luc finds someone in a shed who had no conception of other people. They had just been dropped there at some point, and so they referred to themselves in the third person.
I don't remember this episode, but I might have seen it.
I have to think about it.
Does it sound familiar?
It does. I remember a shed, but I don't think it was Picard. Janeway.
It might have been Janeway. I don't know. I remember Picard because he was always the one in those like foresty scenes.
Well, there was one where they were having where Janeway was arguing with Q, and then he took her to the Q continuum, and that's when there's this one old Q who's trying to explain the continuum to her, and it's just like.
And he's got like a ship or something, and he leaves.
Yeah. Mad like.
But that's that, right? Like he was referring to himself in the third person.
Right. Yeah. He's like, the Q exists.
Mm-hmm.
You mean you exist? The Q exists.
Mm-hmm.
When? Everywhere.
Yeah.
And nowhere.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, exactly. So that was my little like brain tickle when I got to that point. The first thing I thought was, for those of you who have read the Expanse book, that's basically the thought process that this single, I don't know what it was, like just a single dot? I don't know.
It was a point, because it wasn't a whole line, it was just a point. So it couldn't see anything, it couldn't perceive anything.
No.
It was just by itself.
But it knew it was alive because it could
think, therefore I am.
Right. And when this guy tried to talk to it, it's like, look at that. I imagined someone talking to me to amuse myself. I'm really great at this.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's the kind of thing like where people like say we invented God.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't believe in God, that the idea of God is not that they don't exist anywhere because they're in our mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thought process, an idea of ours
Mm-hmm.
that we all created. Yeah. Same kind of thing, you know.
Right. So that's the one plot. Him trying to describe his world. Like the reason I came to that one is because by the end of it, the circles, they're horrible beings.
Of course they are.
Because they're clearly aware of the third dimension.
And they're deliberately
hiding it. And anyone who sees it or learns about it, they destroy.
Yeah. But it goes back to the color thing, where they were like, anything that, destroys our worldview has to be banned. So even though we still make color,
right,
and we make sure that we're making color, we don't distribute color. The color is made by one person, a circle.
And that's it.
That's it.
And that person gets consumed.
Yes.
Once, rather than being able to pass it on,
exactly.
they teach it and then
at their deathbed, they teach one more color. They teach one more circle how to make, the colors. We do not produce the colors for mass market. Colors are made by us in case we ever decide we want color.
Right. Which we clearly don't. Right. So the whole story behind color is, for those again who haven't read it, is that there's at some point a shape decided to paint himself in a variety of colors. Just somebody took shrooms and got crazy and just did the thing.
Irregular octagon or
something like that. Anyway.
Yeah.
And the masses realized that color would be great because it no longer meant that you had to guess what shapes anyone was, because you could do color and then you could very easily perceive the shape, who's who and what's what. And it got to the point where everyone, from the highest of the high to the lowest of the low, the widest angles to the narrowest, everyone was painting themselves, and it was great all the time. And they made a motion to have this be a standard thing. And you get painted based on your shape, basically. And then women, which were basically needles, and circles would be specific colors. And when the circles realized that they were losing their upper hand, they found 14 different excuses, which I'm not going to share. If you want to know why, you should read the book.
Yes. As
to why no one should paint themselves. And then they made it illegal, and they said you're absolutely not allowed to paint yourself. And if you get painted, then you're going to end up in jail or in an insane asylum. And they hid paint to the point where only one person in the entire planet in their world knew how to do paint.
Yes.
Chromium. That was the guy's name who made color.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the play on words during this the whole book. The play on words is great.
Yes.
It is great.
And then the other second plausible, again, reaching.
I don't think it's not reaching though. I could see it being.
Well, the first one makes a lot more sense than this one. When I finally read that the guy's a schoolmaster, I imagine maybe he was one of those teachers that wanted to find a fun way to teach fucking kids the difference between length, width, height, and all these things. And he couldn't come up with this. And he's like, I'm going to write a story that explains shapes to them. If I was a kid and this is how they taught me, I would be fucked up right now.
Why?
I'm surprised this wasn't like a Jeopardy question or something. Like they weren't like
I'm sure it is.
It might be. Well, maybe it is, and that's how I came up. I'm trying to figure out how I came about this book. I do not know. I haven't been drinking. I don't understand how I came upon this book.
Maybe you were just sleepy, and the universe was like,
This is one of those things where it's like this book would only happen because we were in a quarantine. And it was like I'm spending a lot of time at home.
Yes.
And so I'm going and I have named my Wi-Fi. I named it Rabbit Hole because I'm always just going down.
That's cute.
Deep holes in the internet, and it's like, how did I end up here?
Yes.
And it's like I'm definitely Alice in my own house, but it's like.
Well, thank you for suggesting it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. When it first started, I was mad at you.
Same. I was like, that's why I came in and asked, who recommended this book?
I was mad at you.
Yeah.
You made me watch that movie Rubber or Tire or whatever the hell it's called. Tire. And I was like, yo, this fucking guy made me watch the Rubber version of a book. I'm mad. And then by the end I was like, okay, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's definitely a clever book. Definitely clever. I'm glad I read it.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit smarter.
Yeah.
But it's definitely similar to that movie.
Yeah.
It's like, why is this happening?
Why? Who did this?
Why?
The first 10 chapters of explanation were like... What?
Yeah. I don't doubt that anybody who reads this book will come up to me in the street and be like,
gonna tweet you?
One, I know you from your videos. Your head's not that big. That's what I want you to say. And
what kind of videos are we talking about?
These videos. This video. I don't make any other videos.
PG-13.
And it's like, I know what you mean about the book, because it's one of those, like, I'm sitting in the car finishing it before I came in here, and I'm like, is there a story?
The story is the ghost. It feels very much like the Ghost of Christmas Past and Present, but with math. Like he goes, the first place he goes to is to a world where it is a step down from the second dimension to a one-dimensional plane, and he has a conversation with someone from the king of the one-dimensional plane, and fails miserably to explain that there are more than one dimension.
Yeah.
And then he proceeds to have the exact same conversation with someone from the third dimension, and is equally unable to grasp it the same way that the king from the first dimension was. Yeah. And so it's just this like Ghost of Christmas Past and Present. But I do appreciate how quickly he like once he was in the third dimension, he just right away jumps into, well, if there's a third, there must be a fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh.
Yeah,
Let me see your stomach.
That was strange for me that you would not believe when you first heard this. I will not believe that you are telling me that there's more dimensions than I know exist, and I am the king of this world. I am, you know, like, he's the highest being in this world, this existence. How dare you tell me that there is a third dimension? Right. That there is an upwards. If you mean upwards.
Yeah, if you mean upwards. I mean, it was just kind of funny. I feel like if I had a similar running thing, I would probably immediately think of my previous interaction that I had the night before, of meeting someone and trying to explain to them, like, no, there's something more than what you have here, and be like, well, okay, maybe I'll see what you gotta say. I'll listen to you. I'll hear you out. Let's just say that you are a sphere made of many circles,
stacked on top of each other. But wait, how do you stack? There are only two dimensions.
Exactly.
And all he could see is like, I'm gonna keep going up and down. Yeah. I'm gonna get smaller and bigger. Yeah. It's like, whoa. Yeah. Like that's what I imagined. Keanu Reeves should make this movie, and he should play the square. Just so we can get the. Whoa.
We're at that point basically, unless you guys have any other fun things to mention. The fan cast. Yeah, we fan cast everything, so we gotta fan cast this. I want George Carlin as the sphere. I just want him to, but I want like true George Carlin, like the satirical call you an asshole, a moron kind of thing. I want him to script the dialogue for the sphere when he's talking to the square and he meets him for the first time.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that works.
Okay.
Just because he sounded mad annoying, the Lion King. What is his name? Does the parrot from Aladdin?
Oh no!
No. Gilbert Gottfried.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man! If you like, side note, if you like really vulgar jokes, Gilbert Gottfried does stand up, or he did stand up. It is very vulgar, but so fucking funny. It is hysterical. Highly recommend. But I'm telling you now, it's vulgar. But yeah, no, I would turn the movie off.
What was the name of that?
No, I can't.
What was the name of the joke? It passed around between all these different comedians.
What?
It's one joke that comedians. It's the same basic joke, but the ending is where you put your comedic flourish on, like your own individual.
Oh, I've never heard of this.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. I think it's called The Producers.
No.
The joke is called The Producers. So it's basically this family goes into a casting agency, and
I think I do know this.
They do this. This guy's he's basically selling this act, and he's like, okay, and it's like, you want to see this act, and it's like, and the end of the joke is just a torrent of disgusting things a family could do to one another.
Yes. I am familiar with this. Like yeah.
And Bob Saget has told it, and his is pretty funny because the whole thing.
The whole thing of Bob Saget
is that he was played this really clean guy,
right?
And his comedy is so dirty.
Yeah.
So disgustingly dirty. Yes.
Yeah. His is one of the worst, I think, of all of those versions of the joke.
I have it on DVD.
Dirtiest.
I will bring it the next time I see you.
We can probably YouTube it.
I'm sure we can find it.
Anyway, so.
It was one of those things. It's like I have to have this of my own.
I need to own this.
I need to own
in
this.
case it goes away.
I think it was just at the beginning of like Netflix and all this stuff. It was like sometimes things go away. I don't want.
I know that things go away, but
I want mine. With me always.
So we've got.
So I can show the children.
Oh, good.
When I'm a dirty old man.
When I sleep. Are you finished?
Yes.
So we've got Carl. No, not Carl. George Carlin as the Sphere. Are we actually casting Keanu Reeves as a Square?
I haven't casted him enough. Yes.
Yeah, we have to cast him as something.
All right, so he's a Square.
That guy needs all the work he can get.
Okay, no, it doesn't. And then
gotta keep him working. You gotta keep him around.
Gilbert Godfrey as the king of the
Just imagine all that complaining he does, but in his voice.
No.
I can't do an impression of him.
This one's just for you. I think of Keanu Reeves as our A Portrait of Dorian Gray. Like as long as he's working, he will stay young. Kind of thing. Like the work keeps him young.
I can see that.
If he ever stops making movies,
he's just gonna wither
just
real
wither
quick, like
die.
24 hours, like
Exactly.
withered.
That's why he's making video games now too.
That's right.
Are there any other characters?
I mean,
if you can name a shape, there's a character for it.
Yeah, I know. Like, but we don't see much of them. Like, there's a wife, but
because there's not much of a real story here.
Yeah. Okay, so there's the three characters.
There's no conflict. What's the conflict?
The conflict is his coming to
third
terms
dimension?
with
coming to that's not a conflict.
Yeah.
It's an idea.
And we find out by the end of the book that he's basically been writing this for the last 7 years. That he's been in prison for, revealing that there's a third dimension.
So if we alt cast this.
I mean, this kind of movie that you can only alt cast.
No, that was a pretty serious casting. I was actually casting George Carlin for the Spirit.
No, that'd be great.
But I mean, like, obnoxious. Like.
Godfrey he covers obnoxious.
No.
I wonder what shape curmudgeon takes.
What?
Curmudgeon. It's like an old person who's who's like ornery and annoyed all the time.
No.
It's like.
Well, okay, so challenge, and I'm gonna pause it for a second because I have to use the bathroom. But here's a challenge. Let's do the three characters in the most possibly, absolutely annoying, worst way that you can. I'll be back.
Okay.
I gotta pee.
Did you pause?
No.
No?
I gotta
You
pee.
still recording?
That's right.
Do you guys ever want to see my face? Or is the back of my head sufficient? I don't always shave it. So sometimes you might see some odd shapes because I don't shave well. Yes, I'm looking into the camera expecting you to respond, but
You will respond.
That's right. I want you to go to the fourth dimension, which is time. Think about it. I want you to come back and respond to this video. Not in the comments. Physically. Knock at the door. We'll wait.
And then in the fifth dimension.
That's right.
Which is the internet.
Yes.
Comment.
That's right.
Space and time.
That's right. The internet is depth. Depth of perception. Because we can, in the internet, we can perceive anything we want. All things are possible.
And nothing's possible.
Exactly.
Where do I get? Oh, that's where I get that thing from.
What?
You ever watch the movie Kingdom of Heaven?
I think so. What's his name?
Orlando Bloom, yeah.
Yes, okay.
Oh, I have another character.
When he's talking to the... he's so important, too.
I have another character.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. We're on a tangent. Welcome to
Super
the
tangent.
Podcast. We go on tangents.
I'll kill you. The Dot. We didn't cast the Dot. You know who the Dot has to be.
Who?
In a serious one?
Yeah.
Who?
The Rock.
Yeah, he naturally speaks in the third person.
That's right. That's true.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
I was thinking, I was like, how did we not do the dot?
Do you smell what the dot is cooking?
I can hear the dot saying, "Oh, I imagined a way to talk to myself."
That's right.
What a marvelous idea!
Yeah.
I'm such a fan.
He was pretty good in Jumanji.
The people's dot.
Yeah, the people's dot. The point of no return. Yes, yes.
Retract?
Oh,
No. Okay,
you
so
started this.
I know. So
Okay.
let's do some really, really wretched casting.
Wretched casting. Okay.
Okay, Ratchet.
It's just the worst of the worst of the worst.
The first thing that came to mind was William Shatner.
Absolutely.
William
Who?
Shatner. William Shatner talking about.
As a square?
I'm not even sure. He could work on either side of these dimensions. I think if he was the sphere,
Yeah.
he could work. As like there are 3 dimensions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he could definitely do that better than you.
Yeah,
can.
exactly. It's like he definitely could
They're
speak
all
above you. Yeah.
3
Dimensions. Yeah, exactly.
Oh shit! It's gonna take forever.
Or he could be the king. It's like there can't be 3 dimensions.
Uh-huh.
How could you tell me this? This is
Right.
impossible.
Right. Actually, I think I prefer
Yeah.
that. But I would almost prefer that in the real world, like in the real casting. But that I see that as the king. I like that. The king of lines of 1 dimensions, which is just a horizon and nothing more. So all they have is north and south. Right?
Because in Trek, he's already spoken in like one of the movies. He spoke to an omnipotent being.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Why does God need my ship?
Yeah.
That is forever one
Yeah.
of my favorite lines.
This is true.
Oh, now I want to watch that.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Wait, we're not done casting.
Right.
Okay.
So we have Shatner as the king of lines.
Yeah.
We need the square, the sphere, and the dot.
Okay. While we're thinking, let me say this that I didn't say during the rest of the podcast.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he said that certain shapes embodied certain kind of characteristics.
Oh yeah,
like,
for sure.
Squares were this.
Yeah.
Like he was a square, so he was a lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
which means he's very even-sided.
Yes.
Like there's and all the angles are right.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of those things. I like those things.
The triangles were soldiers, no?
Soldiers,
the
isosceles.
The isosceles triangles.
Yeah, they were all soldiers.
The equilateral triangles and all that stuff.
The equilaterals, which have all even angles.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They're the good triangles.
Yeah.
But if you were a really bad triangle and obtuse,
Yes.
This is a reminder.
you got destroyed.
Pick up Toby's water bowl.
Yes.
As you may have heard, we have to pick up Toby's water bowl.
That's right.
He's napping.
Yes. And we've already fed him, so you won't be hearing anybody scratching at the bowl.
Pick up Toby's water bowl.
Lazy bastard.
Where's the other one?
I don't know.
She's been hiding. I guess she got tired
She's
of running
probably
from me.
eating something she shouldn't be.
Yeah, she's
It's the only time that she's not here.
probably tired of running from me.
Maybe. Alright, casting. Who are the... Trying to think of actors.
What was the parallelogram?
Wait.
Was that Cronium? Was he
I'm
the
not sure.
Paladin? Because he was not just a regular shape.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Should have made a list this time.
Yeah. Even the different shapes they named were like amazing to me because it's like I haven't heard a lot of this since what 8th grade,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like or 10th grade or something. It's like
The King of Lions could also be Samuel L. Jackson.
I was trying not to cast him in everything.
Well, I mean, this has got to be like.
But remember, technically we would have 2 people play the King of Lions because they have 2 mouths.
yes. That's
Oh
true.
yeah.
That's true. They have 2 voices. Yeah. It's
That's
like
true.
you only had 1 voice, so I thought you were a woman.
Yeah.
It's like,
So rude.
yeah.
And then he disappears. Like, oh my God, she has disappeared.
Yeah.
Like after he told him he was.
He's a man.
Yeah.
I thought you were just a deeply voiced woman. I'm sure those lines are still said today.
Yep.
Oh shit.
Well, if we're gonna cast a deeply voiced woman, not that I don't think there was actually one, but a deeply voiced woman would be Kathleen Turner. I always liked
actually
her
heard
voice.
your voice.
You have. If
Not speaking.
I'm sure you have. And if not, we're gonna watch a movie called Serial Mom,
I don't know.
and you're gonna enjoy it, and I'm gonna enjoy you enjoying it.
Absolutely not.
Yes.
I'm still trying to figure out ridiculous casting.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. Like nothing's jumping out at me.
Right. Especially since they're going to be shapes.
You've lost me. I'm thinking about Serial Mom now.
I can't help you.
Oh.
No. I see your face. No.
I'm stuck in it now.
No.
It's one of the favorite movies from my childhood, which is another thing.
Oh, I have The Square, I think.
Ooh, who is it?
What's his name? Martin Lawrence. That plays Martin.
You think he would play a good Square?
I think he'd play a good Square. But that's almost like in the real version and not an alt cast. I think he'd be a really interesting Square.
No, I'm thinking Square. If I'm going for Square, I'm thinking Alfonso Ribeiro.
Who's that?
It's Carlton Banks.
No.
Yes.
No.
He's the essence of a Square.
It's not a.
That's right.
I would like to hear.
Hell, at one
I
point
would
he
like to
had a
hear
fight
this
out.
fear. This is true. I would like to hear this fear narrated by Zachary Quinto.
No.
I'm just throwing people in there that I'd like to read their parts.
Yeah.
Like if I could just get a table read of this book, just the dialogue with certain characters, I'd like Zachary Quinto to read the sphere. Like the whole talking to yourself, like how can I make this the Square understand?
Well, at that point, I kind of want to hear this dude's read it.
Oh.
Cumberbatch.
Which character? Also the sphere?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
I like his voice.
Yeah.
Because he can talk down to people.
Yeah.
We've seen him in show.
Yeah.
That smoke.
Arnold Schwarzenegger has to be cast in this.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
I can't decide who I want it to be though.
I mean,
I kind of want him to be the spear.
Well, if we're gonna have Arnold, and because of, even though it's not as bad as it used to, his accent, I want him to have the most lines.
Yes.
Telling us about right angles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does anyone else feel like no one else in Austria speaks like Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Probably not. They probably go like, "What's he saying?"
Yeah, exactly. Like
Oh
if you go to
God!
Austria.
If you really wanted a really bad headache, you get young Arnold as the Square, talking to Sean Connery as the Spear.
Yes. Oh.
Or Jean-Claude Van Damme as the Dot.
No.
No.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying I don't agree with you. I'm wondering how horrible that would be.
It would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Jean-Claude as the Dot. Come on.
I was also thinking of throwing in Mumbles.
Who's Mumbles?
Sylvester Stallone.
Oh. I thought you meant the actual actor that played Mumbles on Dick Tracy.
No. You say Mumbles and I think of that one newscast anchor from the fucking TV channel. So there's a particular newscaster for early morning TV, and he's got a really heavy mustache, and he talks like he's got a mouthful of marbles. So when he would do casting, my dad and I would sit there, and he used to do the news, and so all we could make out were words like clouds and rain. So that's what I think of. We call him Mumbles. Damn. Some more awful casting. I'm gonna keep recasting these.
There was more story.
Worser and worser. Yeah, well, unless that's it. I feel like there's somebody, like it's just like right on the tip, right in the fog.
Well, there was a kid that, he was teaching him. They were
His
teaching
grandson?
his grandson. Who would play a tiny Square?
He wasn't a Square, but it's his grandson, so he was.
Oh, that's right. He would have more sides than the other.
Oh, that was another interesting thing about the book, was how they rather than worship their old, they worship their youngest, because the youngest was the closest to getting up and
moving up in the world.
moving up because they had more ankles. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. I gave you those sides.
Yeah.
That's right.
Grandpa, you stupid. You right.
Oh no. I'm still thinking about Arnold Schwarzenegger. I would love that.
Arnold, if you're listening to us, please pick up the book and have it read.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you just read the Square?
Oh, are there any books that are narrated by Arnold Schwarzenegger? We are reading those.
Oh no.
We are going to look.
No,
that
I
is
can't.
if no one else looks for that, I am going to look for that. I'm looking for audiobooks narrated
I quit this podcast.
by Arnold Schwarzenegger. And if I alone have to read that book, I will read it myself.
You're not going to read it alone.
And
but
start my own podcast.
Dennis, if it doesn't exist, tweet it at him. Since Arnold is super active on social media, he might actually answer you.
Oh my god, that'd be awesome.
What book would you, if you could have him narrate any book, what would it be?
It would be something super romantic.
Oh no!
Just something
like a novella.
Yes, it would definitely be some sort of novella.
Technically, this is a novella.
Yeah, but I mean, like something super flowery and you know, like some Daniel Steele type novel or something.
Oh, fuck,
I would love to hear that.
No thanks. What?
Tell
Are you
me,
finding it?
found
No,
something.
not the face.
Please tell me.
What?
Wow.
What?
I mean,
there's more than one, isn't there?
Yes.
Yes.
But they're not like they're not books.
No.
For instance, one is his true life story.
Okay, that's fine.
But what he called it?
What do you call it?
Total Recall.
Well, that has to be read.
Oh man.
My everything hurts. No.
That is going to be awesome.
No. Hey, you. Are we done here?
No. We're going to talk about this.
Would you like him to narrate a self-help like
Of
book?
course.
It's Man 2.0, Engineering of the Alpha,
That's right.
forwarded by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah. Can I just mention that it's been reported that the old alpha male thing, the study that came from, was debunked by its creator?
No.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't
So
even know that
the
was
way
a
people
study on
use
that.
like alpha
Mhm.
is not relevant to me.
Oh, interesting. How long ago was this?
I think it was in the past year or so.
Oh.
And then there's a bunch of things just about Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No. No, that's not
Do you have
what
any
we
other
want.
casting? Put the phone down. Hey, you. Put the phone down.
Dolph Lundgren.
All we want.
Ooh, as who?
Don't say He-Man.
Not quite He-Man. He'll be Chromium.
Yes.
Could you imagine him painting himself in all sorts of fabulous colors?
Yes.
Yes, actually.
It would be
Yes.
great.
He would paint each peck a different color. And pop it. Yes.
Don't move your shoulders.
I have to, 'cause I don't have
That's
pecs.
right. You move your shoulders upward.
In and out of dimension. I'm fucking going to sleep now. I hate both of you. Pecs and multiple dimensions.
If that doesn't make you want to read this
Yes.
book, I don't know what will.
Now I'm thinking about the entire cast of the Expendables reading books like that. Just reading romance novels.
No, okay, we're signing off before this gets worse.
We never cast Bruce Willis in anything.
It's true.
We've got to find some more Bruce Willis characters.
But we don't encounter many of them in our books.
Well, the problem with Bruce Willis is he's too... what's the word I want to say? Like, he doesn't have like a particular accent or a particular funny thing in the way he speaks.
True.
So it's just like, guy.
Yeah.
He's like shoot 'em up guy.
What makes him interesting is, you know...
I mean, he is Bruce Willis-y. He's his own type, but it's not anything that's on the level of like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I would say, like, if we're going to pick people from the Expendables, this dude, Terry Crews.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's another one that could flex his pecs in and out of
Yes.
dimension.
Yeah.
or if we want heavy accent, Jet Li.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jet Li, maybe as the Dot.
But see, anything with
He's
an
a
Asian
monk.
accent, I feel bad about because I feel like we're making fun of Asians, and I don't want to make fun of Asians.
Okay.
We make fun of everybody.
No, I don't mind making fun of people.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be racial about it.
But you're being racial by exclusion. By being afraid to touch that, you're being racist against
It's
it.
hypocritical, but it still works. Like it'll keep me safe.
It's okay.
Be more like Mel Brooks, make fun of everyone.
Mhm.
Yes, but Mel Brooks is Mel Brooks.
I'd love to cast Mel Brooks in one of these.
Oh, that's true.
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
He could be the Square.
Did he write any books?
Has he read any books?
Oh my god! How dare you?
Would you like me to check?
Yes, please.
What do you mean, how dare I?
How
I mean,
dare you? Mel Brooks is a
married.
treasure.
I know.
Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein. You love those movies.
I love all of them.
Exactly.
I'm surprised you're gonna say Spaceballs. That's like one of the
I
best.
keep forgetting he was in that. And wrote,
Not
and
only
like,
in it, but
he
that's
directed
what
it.
it
And
is,
it's
yeah.
like, yeah. I saw that one in the theater.
Did you?
Yeah.
Don't date yourself like
What? I'm old. I don't care.
that.
How great it is to be old and black.
No, it's so depressing.
So he has not narrated any himself, but there's a bunch about him.
Okay.
Oh no, I don't want to read about him.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to read by him.
Yes. We want to listen to his voice as President Scrooge.
I feel like if he would have narrated the restaurant at the end of the world, or the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy,
Oh,
that could have been really fun.
I've never read that.
It's phenomenal. It's so much fun.
It's down our alley of jokes we like.
Yeah, it's really, really good. We it's not old enough to qualify for this, but maybe we'll
I mean, we
old books.
we
podcast.
run this podcast.
Old
It could be whatever we want.
Books podcast. We can make modern books podcasts if we want.
Is it older than us?
Yes.
Yeah. What?
We can do
50s?
We can do like side note type
No, it's
thing.
not that old. How old is this?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, we out.
Yeah.
Latest.
We hope you enjoyed our podcast
That's
episode on
Including the tangents.
on including tangents on
Yes.
dimensions. I enjoyed reading it. Thank you,
That's
Dennis,
right.
for the weird suggestion.
I still don't know how I came upon it.
You can find us on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at oldbookspodcast.com. There's also an email, suggestions@oldbookspodcast.com. You can drop us a line. If you have a book that you love, you can comment at us or email us your suggestions, and we'd love to read those. And we will, for the next episode, we'll probably be doing a series of short horror for Halloween
Yay.
end of October stuff, so look out for that. That should be a lot of fun.
And we may or may not have a special guest.
That's right.
Maybe.
We'll
We'll
let you
try.
know.
We'll try, but
Ariana's gonna buy me candy.
candy corn.
No. Old books, not old
Gents?
candy.
Gents, where can people find you?
You can find me at on Twitter at dmelobk.
Mm-hmm.
You can also find me on Instagram at the same name.
Word.
You'll see a lot of it linked in our Instagram
Mhm.
posts. So you
Yeah,
can
all
find me
posts
there.
on Instagram are tagged, so you
Yeah.
can follow any one of these
Yep.
human beings.
Yeah.
I recently posted about our trip to the the American National History Museum or whatever.
Museum of
Natural History. Yes, yes. All those
Yes.
words. All those words.
All those words.
That's right.
DJ Muerza?
Yes.
Morsa.
Morsa.
What's up?
Who are you?
I'm me.
But where are you on social
On
media?
the webs. Do you
Oh.
want people to find you or not?
I mean, it's tagged to the things. I don't actually remember my name, which is hilarious.
Yes.
What's
Pretty
your
much
name?
just look for Old
it?
Books Podcast.
Yeah, Old Books Podcast. You can find everybody on there.
We're all
Not
tagged.
Old Book, because it's more than one of them.
Yeah.
Old Books.
Old Books
With an
Podcast.
S. Old Books
Ju-
Podcast.
Just for fun, if you want to tweet at us, please tweet at us your favorite shape.
Yes.
Yeah, if you
Tell-
read this book, let us know what you think.
Yeah.
If you've never heard of it, let us know.
Let us know which two-dimensional object you are.
Yes, sir. How many sides do you have?
Wow, that's actually a good question. What shape am I?
Yes.
If you had to put me in a two-dimensional world, what shape do you think I would be?
Definitely not a square.
I'm sorry, babe, but according to this guy, you
I'm an
are a
irregular.
lie. You're a lie.
Oh,
I am.
because you're a lady.
I
You're a
am.
lady.
But sex aside, like mental acuity alone.
Well, that's the thing. I don't actually think that their system actually shows how intelligent people are.
Not at all. Just how many sides they have.
Just how many sides. It's one of those things where the circles have restricted everyone.
Right.
Yes.
No, I get that. But also, what shape am I? I think I'd probably be the same shape as that person who colored themselves.
Cronium.
Yeah.
I want to say he was like an 8-sided one, or not, like he wasn't a square. He was beyond that,
Yeah.
but he wasn't a circle. So
Mhm.
it's something in between.
I would have to say you would be on any particular shape. Like you wouldn't be like a simple shape. You wouldn't be a square or a triangle.
Okay.
Because you are a person of many sides.
Mm.
You are a person of many, talents and interests, and like you're not a. I can't think of you as like anything with straight sides.
Thanks,
You're
I
you're
appreciate
somebody was almost circular.
I would say the same about you. Just because you're like highly acute in things of that realm, like of plants and of fish and these kinds of things that are considered to be like kind of like specialties.
Yeah, I like weird stuff.
Yeah. So I think we're all almost circles here.
I would like to think of myself as a slightly irregular circle.
All right, oval, relax.
Yeah.
Oval, ellipse. You're an ellipsis.
All right, so we're all semicircles.
Mm-hmm.
Signing out.
Latest.
Yep.
Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Yeah. You need to. Can you stop that?
I never realized how much pain my headphones were giving me, or that I'm giving my headphones because I'm making them stretch so much.
What do you mean?
My big head.
You're paranoid.
So big.
This book was a lot of fun.
Yes.
I appreciate it. I feel like this dialogue is one of the most engaging dialogues we've had in a little while.
So we have to maybe read weirder books.
Yeah,
Old and weird.
I'm okay with that.
To Dennis, get more strange drunk ideas.
Yeah, I guess so.
But for the next one, I was thinking
that was kicking ass to find out. I recommended this book. I was like, how the fuck did I remember?
You came in here so mad. Who recommended this book? Oh, shit.
I do not know how I came upon this book. I really don't.
Did you read the description at least of the other one you also recommended?
I did read the. I remember like putting those there. I don't remember
finding them.
Yeah,
I'm really curious about how you don't grade things. How you came about this?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out myself.
This is a fun podcast.
Yeah.
Let's find more weird episodes like this.
Yeah. I don't know about how weird the next one will be because I wanted to do Sleepy Hollow and maybe one of Edgar Allan Poe's books.
Well, I've never read those. I've never read any of. I have the complete works of Edgar Allan Poe. I have not read that. I have.
Well, the other reason I wanted to do one of
the only Poe I know of is the Raven. Raven and.
Yeah, I mean I've read those short ones.
I mean I thought they were all short. Did he do long stories?
I don't know. Did he? I can look it up.
Because I just knew The Raven, The Telltale Heart.
I've only heard.
I mean, we could do.
Never read them.
What if we do like something? Maybe we'll look up and see if we can find a Flatlands version of a horror book, like a strange horror book, and that's also like maybe like a short story kind of short piece.
Well, I wanted to also run this by both of you while you're here.
The answer is yes.
Maybe within the next 2 weeks, we'll do a trip deeper into the Bronx and take some pictures in front of the Poe House.
Sure.
So we can use those for when we post for Halloween.
Sure. Oh, at some point I'd like to take a trip to not Neil Armstrong. There's a black musician whose house was in Queens and it's become a museum.
Ooh.
I can't remember the gentleman's name.
Are they open?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna go check on that and see if they're still open and when they're open, so we can go.
I would love that.
Yeah, sounds great.
Definitely want to take my granddad. He's a jazz fan.
I look forward to when we can go back to
regular stuff and just venture about the city.
Well, not just that, but
Do you still use this? Do you still need it? Is this the one that you're using? I saw this on your desk.
Yeah, but I haven't done the thing, and since I'm concentrating on the comic book, I won't be using that for a bit.
We'll leave it on just in case you feel like it.
The Lincoln Center. I'm very hopeful next year we'll, be safe enough to go to concerts again. Because all that stuff being canceled through January.
Yeah.
Thanks, babe.
I wonder what flat earthers think about this one.
They probably think it's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's recording?
And they probably don't think it's satirical.
Yeah.
They're like, no, this is serious.
We all square shapes.
We're all in the White House. But nigga. full belly. Somebody's gotta pee. Oh, little full belly. Hi, Toby, you're cute.
He'll get his chance. When we walk to Dennis's car later tonight.
Yeah.
So. So Sleepy Hollow, and then I wonder if we can get a
The Sleepy Hollow's super short.
Let's see if we can find a collection of shorts, and maybe we can just buy one
We should
file.
drive up there.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sleepy Hollow. It's New York.
Oh, how far?
I don't know, but I don't think it's very far. It's definitely something we can cover in a day. I can't go. I just realized I can't go anywhere.
Why?
I can't go anywhere more than 2 hours outside of this, away from the hospital. I have to be close so I can answer in case they call me.
Got it. Okay.
But if they call us, you'll have to go in right then and there.
I have to be there within 2 hours because the kidney will have to stay viable.
Oh.